Welcome back. For the purposes of the 200 e-learning modules, we are going to explore 3 fundamental questions when it comes to learning and development. Those questions are, what are the intended outcomes or end result we are striving for? What actions do we need to take to accomplish said goal? And what type of person do I need to be to execute these tasks? These can also be referred to goal orientation, task orientation, and role orientation. For the psychological safety theme, we are seeking to explore to understand the following. How can I ensure psychological safety prior to times of crisis or elevated concerns? What are the ways I can communicate and connect with my team to promote psychological safety? And what are the signs I have created a psychologically safe environment? Diving right in, how can I ensure psychological safety prior to times of crisis or elevated concerns? We understand from psychological safety research that psychological safe environments need to be established prior to times of crisis or elevated concerns. Times of crisis or elevated concerns in sports can include game time decisions when the team is down, personal concerns influence performance, like academic or family stress, or competition in unfamiliar or new environments. In the 100 level modules, we discuss best practices for building psychological safety. Those best practices include treating players equally, reacting to stress predictably, admitting mistakes, asking specific questions, and addressing team issues. This week, we want you to identify 2 best practices you can implement in order to build psychologically safe environment prior to elevated stress levels. The reason we're choosing 1 to 2 best practices to implement this week is that we often don't know when times of crisis are approaching, as times of crisis inherently can be unpredictable. By providing a short time frame to address these best practices, you're ensuring that prioritizing psychological safety is established well before these elevated concerns. What are the ways I can communicate and connect with my team to promote psychological safety? The most effective way to implement best practices in psychological safety is to do so with intention. Psychological safety does not happen by accident. Refer to the external sources of accountability you outlined in the structure module. How are you intentionally promoting a psychologically safe environment within those structures? Does your team have appropriate opportunities to connect with you outside of skill development? This can include office hours or being available before and after practice. And are you being explicit in your communication with your team that trust is the goal and expectation, not the exception? And finally, what are the signs that I have created a psychologically safe environment? There are key individual characteristics that point to a psychologically unsafe environment. These include frustration, anger, lack of trust or feelings of safety, rash decision-making, and a breakdown of communication. The absence of characteristics that point to an unsafe environment point to a psychologically safe environment. We'll discuss these further in the learning applications video. You may have already noticed, these are the same characteristics and behaviors that are exhibited when a coach has issued too great of a challenge to their student athletes without enough support.